1 out of 2 black women over 20 have cardiovascular disease. Like, when I saw this data, I was like, whoa. Because I think one of the things we know is cardiovascular disease is the number one killer overall. Like, how does this data inform you as a woman?
Self-care is not just something that is about nails and pedicures, which all of those things are good, like doing things to ourselves. But what's happening to us internally is actually way more important.
And that's the first thing that jumped out to me. And then I was like, oh, this book is necessary, because the further I got into the book, I began to realize that you're really battling more than just this, need for self-care, this need for self-love. Like, you're literally trying to save lives in many ways, the way that you saved your own.
Yes.
Change up the things you see. Open your mind to possibilities. Find your power, passion, and purpose. You know it's time for you to walk in greatness. Let's murder mediocrity. Slay your goals, live out your dreams. Now, inspirational perspective. Open your mind to a better life. It's time to live a dream. Your purpose now. Inspirational perspective. Let's slay your goals.
This morning we have Miss Cantiese Burrell in the studio, who is joining us to talk about her book, The Me Moment, and to share some of her wisdom with us. And I'm gonna kick it off. I'm gonna kick it off with this, Cantiese. You said something early in the book, actually in the prelude of the book, and I want to jump into this right away.
Okay.
Because it really caught my attention that 1 out of 2 black women over 20 have cardiovascular disease. And like, when I saw this data, I was like, whoa. Because I think one of the things we know is cardiovascular disease is the number one killer, right, overall. But then to see that 50% of women, like, once they get over the age of 20, black women in particular, are dealing with this, I was like, man. And so I'm really curious about how, one, this data impacted you on a personal level, where you're like, I got to do something about me, right? Because, that's the first place I would go, right, if I were in that category.
Absolutely.
And then how did this data inform your work, inspire the book, etc.? But first, let's talk about you.
Okay.
And then we'll get into who you are, who you be in the world, all that. But, how does this data inform you as a woman?
Yeah, so it really helped me to understand that stress is not just, or self-care is not just something that is about nails and pedicures, and which all of those things are good. Like, doing things to ourselves is important, and I know that we invest a lot in that. But what's happening to us internally is actually way more important. And so it called my attention to really pay attention to not just what's happening on the outside, but what is happening internally with me.
Right.
How is my heart rate? What is happening to me when I feel overwhelmed or stressed? And what are the ways that I can ensure that I'm managing myself in a way that doesn't allow me to be one of those numbers?
Yeah. I say one of them.
Yeah.
I guess I still see it that way. Like, I don't want to be, one of them.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I jumped over a whole lot of stuff to go there, right?
I was like, okay.
But in some ways, I want people to understand, some of the reasons you wrote the book. And that's the first thing that jumped out to me. And then I was like, oh, this book is necessary, because the further I got into the book, I began to realize that you're really battling more than just this, need for self-care, this need for self-love. Like, you're literally trying to save lives in many ways, the way that you saved your own.
Yes. So what I have found as I dug into doing this work is that we suffer from preventable health challenges because we are not mitigating what the wear and tear that stress has on us. And so it is not just about a book or this, words or on a page. It's about healing and saving our lives. Yeah, this is a life-saving work that I'm in.
Got you.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that. Now, it actually has me thinking about my own purpose. And my purpose is, like, the short end of it is to help myself and others live the best life possible. But myself, like, that's, like, the first part is to help myself. And one of the reasons that's there in my purpose is because, well, frankly, when I wrote it, I was in my early 20s. And so as much as I had this passion and desire to help others, it was very clear to me that I had to do some things first.
Starts with you.
Right. Yeah, I had to start with me. Like, I got to get myself up out this situation. And then when I get up out this situation, then I can reach back and help other people. But I want to help other people, but I got to climb up out this hole first, right? And so one of the things I love about the book is that you talk a lot about your own personal journey and how, like, you overcame what I believe many of us deal with. And it helped me. Like, it helped me kind of look at myself and how I care for myself in a completely different way. Because I think when you've been doing this type of work, because both of us are in transformational work, right? We're supporting people. And what happens is you're looking outward and looking at other people, in terms of conversations that you're having, and you're thinking about them. And it's very easy for us without the proper support. And even, I mean, you have a coach, I have a coach, all those things. But even then, it's very easy to take our eye off of us.
Yep.
And one of the things that your book helped me do is put an eye back on me. And I really, really want to thank you for that, because I can already, after reading the book, sense like an increase in self-care, an increase in rest. You talk a lot about rest. And some of the things that you pointed out, I kind of had to, like, how you have those moments when you're reading the book. This is for the audience, since we're talking about Cantiese's book. But how when you read a book and you, like, there's that moment where you like, and you just got to, like, you can't read, like, you got to put it, like, you
can't go no further.
You got to kind of sit there and be like, that was, Yeah, I got to absorb that. I can't keep reading, because I really got to absorb that. I had many moments like that as I read your book. And so I'm really, really happy
grateful
to be sharing more of the experience that I have had with the book with the rest of the audience. So, Cantiese, I want to talk a little bit. Now, this is not, you got to know, the questions on here ain't going to be all the questions.
Okay. Oh, boy. Here we go.
I just kind of go off the cuff sometimes. So I'm going to apologize up front. But I'm into good radio.
We're going to flow.
Right. And making sure people get what they need. And I want them to have some context, more context about who you are.
Okay.
So, obviously Black women. But do you mind talking a little bit about, where you're from?
Oh, yeah.
Give us, like, if you could, a 2-minute blurb of childhood to now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, certainly. And so, I definitely am getting used to ringing my own bell. So, all right, let's get it ringing. So I grew up in Maryland, in the DMV area, and I matriculated from my grandmothers were a really big influence in my life. I grew up during the drug epidemic, where that was really a huge, unfortunate impact in our community, and so had a lot of impact in terms of like my life and all of that. And so I benefited from lots of community efforts and the church. So born and raised in the church, and that is a huge influence in terms of who I am as a person. You can often, if you're around me, you're going to hear me, humming and singing. Something gospel, right? I like all kinds of music.
On the bus in Ghana, it's like some humming coming from the front.
Like,
right, yeah.
Yes. And I am because my mom's mom, Janie Dew, she was somebody who would pray all the time. It was like her lifestyle. And so I gleaned that from her. So I'm always tapped in, very, very
Give me an example of what you mean when you say pray all the time.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
So, I mean, anything she did, like getting out the car, going and coming, it was like, thank the Lord. Okay, thank you, Jesus. Oh, Lord, and she just was. And the first thing she did in the morning was to, get on her knees and pray for, and she would name all the children. She had 13 children. She would name all the children. Wow. She would name my name, one.
Yeah.
And it was just something that, was a part of who she was. And then my dad's mom, she was somebody who was very like creative and God-fearing. And so I learned to cook, from her. Okay. I was that one. Everybody else might be outside playing. I was in the kitchen watching.
Like, what you put in
this?
Right,
and she would be like, honey child, and let me tell you.
So Cantiese, you can cook?
Yes, I sure can.
I know that about you. All right.
I sure can. I can cook. Yep. We ringing bells. So yes, I feel like I can, put something together. And she and I know we may get to this, but there's tea throughout the book.
I'm going to ask you about that.
Yeah, one of the things that she would do every evening is drink tea.
Really?
Every evening. She wanted to make sure everything was working and moving right, and she would have tea. And so that is something that really came from a practice that I saw her doing. So I moved from the East Coast, of all places, to Oklahoma because I felt drawn there. I went to school there, finished, several different. I actually have a 2-year ministry degree. I also went to school for social work, so I have a.
So your grandmother didn't just. The influence was deep.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so my spiritual base is where everything is sourced from. Yeah,
got you.
Yeah,
all right, and I think that's good because although I would say when I read the book, it didn't seem overtly spiritual. I think for anyone who is spiritual, you see the spiritual thread.
Yes.
You can sense the spiritual thread as you read it, and I did appreciate that. But it's not overt either for those who may steer away from that. I don't understand why, right?
Right.
But I hope that if they grab the book, that it stirs them and wakes them up. I believe the way you thread it does that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does that.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm here, and one of the things that sort of led me into this space around empowerment was my own journey of like building my self-worth, my self-esteem, all of those things, and going through the process of healing and really starting to see like, wait a minute, this is not just something that I'm experiencing. This is something that a lot of women are experiencing. And what I find what I'm grateful to God for is that things I walk through and experiences that I've had and things I've overcome, I use that in my work to support people. It's like, listen, if you have been, you walked a journey, right? You can easily support somebody else in taking some steps in that same direction.
Yeah.
And so, probably unconventionally, because I am a licensed clinical social worker, I use my clinical expertise, but I also use my professional use of self in terms of what my journey has been. And I think that's what's unique.
Yeah. I can appreciate that. You know, one of the things I'm drawing already from what you're sharing, this is something that I believe, is that our scars, like the scars that we endure early on, often we'll look back and say, God, why?
Yes. Yeah.
Why? Like, why would you, especially if it happened in childhood, why would you allow something like that to happen to me? And I think one of the beautiful things about the Creator is, even if it was unfortunate, even if it was something that He didn't necessarily ordain in that, right?
Yeah.
Is that He can use it in ways to multiply the impact of your purpose.
Most definitely.
And for any of us who are scarred, like, that scar is not just something that marked you and hurt you, but once you heal it, then you know how to heal the exact wound on someone else, right?
Yes.
And I think sometimes we forget that. But first you got to heal yours,
Yeah,
right? You got to know how to heal yours.
Got to get healed.
You got to get healed. And
yes.
then once you heal it, you see somebody else with the scar, you're like, come here, baby. I got you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I understand exactly what you're feeling, exactly the pain that you're going through, and I've healed from that, and I can support you with that.
And it also makes it where a person doesn't feel isolated in their pain or in their suffering. And I'm able to say, I know you may not feel like it's possible, but it is.
Yeah.
It's possible, because look at me.
Yeah.
Here I am, an example of someone that was able to overcome whatever it might be.
Yeah. What I find is two things. There are people who are very clear about the fact that they struggle with self-worth and self-esteem. They're aware of it, right?
Yeah.
And then there are those who don't realize.
Yeah.
Like, if you ask them if they love themselves, they'd be like, yeah. And at the same time, you see all the signs, right, of a lack of self-worth, a lack of self-esteem. For those who may not be clear, can you give us an example of what that struggle looked like for you?
Yeah, so I'll say it this way. If you are basing how you feel about yourself from an external source, then that's problematic, right? Because now, and guess what? External sources flagellate. So sometimes people might be really feeling you, right? And then on other times, they may be like, that was all right. And now you're all over the place because you're looking for affirmation and confirmation from something that may not even fully understand what your journey has been or who you are. Because, see, self-esteem is about your understanding of what you feel like you're capable of or what your abilities are. Yeah. Right? It's you believing what it is that you're capable of doing. Right? Like, for instance, listen, we go out here right now and you're like, can you change a tire? My self-esteem on that is real low. Okay?
You're like, listen,
my ability, like, and here's the thing, I know, like, I think I kind of have an idea in my mind of how to do that. Yeah. But my actually real capacity to believe that I'm gonna crank your car up and we're not doing it, right?
I don't feel good about that.
Yes.
Stuff. Right. Yeah.
So self-worth and self-esteem have a relationship with each other, where worth is about you understanding your value for love, for having your basic needs being met without a performative aspect to it. It's the inherent thing that we all come here with that gets either tattered or covered up or, gets underneath a wound or whatever the case may be. And so you have to check that when you start to kind of place other things or other people in the space to let you know your worth. You have to embrace it and know it for yourself. So for me, it showed up in like how I was doing relationships, and not just like romantic relationships, but relationships with, friends that may not be reciprocating. So, I'm pouring a lot in and
they ain't really.
Yeah, or, I always got advice for them.
You always the one. Yeah.
They don't ever really have no advice for me. That type of thing.
Right.
Or even like work relationships, like the types of work I was doing or work environments I was choosing.
Allowing yourself to be in.
Yeah, allowing myself to be in.
Now that's a big one.
Yeah.
And maybe, we will. I'm going to make a note of it. We will come back to that one because often I believe people say, well, I have to.
Right. I have to.
And what I hear you saying is, no, sir, no, ma'am.
Right.
It's if you have a healthy sense of self-esteem and self-worth, there's some things that you just will not allow.
Exactly.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what one of the foundational pieces of this book is, caring for ourselves from a place of valuing who we are versus thinking that I need to do something to myself. Because, see, here's the thing, and I know I'm not talking, I don't want to attack the beauty industry, but I kind of do.
Go ahead. I'm for it.
It is a $1 billion industry, and I talk about this in the book, that has us, especially black women, right, putting our money and our dollars into, red bottoms and Louis Vuitton bags or eyelashes. And guess what? I have on eyelashes right now. But let me tell you what I realized is that I was doing lashes, but I wasn't caring for my skin, right?
Oh, wow.
So I took a break from the lashes and was like, you going to get a facial.
Right.
And you're going to figure out what's going on with your skin.
Right.
Before you
go doing
like this.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah, why am I doing it? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so it's about really understanding that we get inundated into thinking we need to do all these things to ourselves to meet some type of unrealistic idea of who we should be, when the choices that we make around those things need to be sourced from a very settled, secure, grounded understanding of our value and who we are. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
When did you first decide to prioritize yourself?
Yeah. So, I, ventured into, I feel like I've had like bits and pieces of it, like along the way. But I would say in 2018, and I don't mind saying I ventured into investing in myself in a different way with coaching, with you, and in a group setting. And one of the things that I realized is that I had gotten a degree. I had the dream job that I thought was a dream job. I had all the things, and I still was just like, something. I'm just it's off. I feel like I've accomplished all of this, but I'm just not. Life, the flavor of life is dull, and so one of the things that I was impressed upon me was to pour into myself in the way that I pour into others, because I'm a pourer. I mean, and when I say pour, I can pour into people at the grocery store, and people. I mean, I'm a listener, and the who I am doesn't turn off, and so I just realized is that I was always scraping the bottom of the the bowl for my own self and pouring out. And so I just really got intentional because I was running on empty. And this analogy is in the book too, that a lot of times there's different personalities when it comes to filling up our gas tank, right? Mm-hmm. Some of us, when we get on half a tank, we like, yes, let me go get filled up. Some people wait till the tank is empty and then they fill up. And then some people, they just get put a little bit in just to go a little further. And then there's some people who was like me. And I will say, life, is an analogy for what's really going on inside. Mm-hmm. I was that person that was always about to run out of gas. Mm. The light would be on, and I would be like, maybe, and I would be praying.
Can I get one more block?
Right. Okay, Jesus, Lord, let me make it, that type of thing. Right. And there were times in my life where I had to do that because means were, I was in the struggle. But then it just became a habit to just run, and so
I could fill up the tank. I'm just not.
Yeah. I'm not going to prioritize that. Right. And so once I got to that point where I realized that my gas tank was a reflection of what I was doing to myself, I realized I needed to do something different, and part of it was integrity. Because I was working with clients and I was preaching something that I wasn't following, I was like, okay, I'm not in alignment. And that's important to me.
I'm not as powerful as I could be.
I'm not as powerful as I could be because I'm talking a good game, right? I'm telling them drink water, but I ain't had no water today.
Right.
Or whatever the case may be. Right. And so it was just a blaring thing as I went further into my work that, in order for me to promote something in a powerful way, I need to make sure that I'm getting support for that was where I started.
Got you.
Yeah.
So 2018. Mm-hmm. So this has been, a 7-year journey. Mm-hmm. And would you say that this book encapsulates that journey?
Definitely. Yeah. I feel like it encapsulates the journey, and it also, quite vulnerably, gives some insight into even some of the areas, a lot of the areas where I was struggling in the ways that I overcame those spaces.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now, Cantiese, how long have we known each other? And for the audience, I met Cantiese in Tulsa, Oklahoma, when we were both working for the same company.
Yes.
And so when did you start with U.S. Cellular?
So I started there, I believe it was 2004.
Okay. I came in 2005. Mm-hmm. So it was, because, I shared a video online yesterday, and I was thinking before I shot the video, I'm like, 2 decades? I'm like, I've known Cantiese for about 20 years. 20 years, yeah. Because when I came in, one of the first things they had me do was fly around.
Yeah.
And go to every site, and you were in the Oklahoma City site.
Tulsa,
Oklahoma.
Yeah. Tulsa.
Tulsa. Sorry, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Just Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Like Tulsa. Okay. There wasn't a location in not the call
not back
center.
then. Yeah. Because we end up putting a little.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
In Oklahoma City later.
Okay. Yeah. But you were in resource planning
and all
at
that.
The time.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So it's been 20 years, and I recall. Definitely not knowing you like I know you now, but knowing of you. And I think for anybody, for us in African American community, y'all know how it go. I flew into Tulsa, Oklahoma. Ain't a whole lot of people that look like me. I walk into the facility and I see the Cantieses in the facility.
Right,
exactly.
Hey! Right, the leader.
Right.
Yes.
What's up? Right, so then you're like, okay.
Our people are here.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. You're like, what's up, sis? And so we had that type of relationship back then. But I did have the opportunity to get to know you to the point where now I'm like, wow. Who you've become, how you show up, what you've achieved is
I'm glad you brought that up. And I feel like, since you did, I will say the Cantiese that I was then was the Cantiese that had something to prove. Right? That was looking for validation, and I was looking for it from a workspace at that time, trying to prove that I'm worthwhile or whatever. And I remember on a positive note, there being some leaders there that really was like, who are you when you don't have to prove anything? Or when do you get to actually stop and say, wow, I smell the roses or see what you bring or whatever the case. And it took a long time for me to get to that point. But definitely that's who I was at that time in my life. And I'm grateful for the journey.
I can recall back when I was in corporate America where you literally got up that morning and it's like,
okay, yes,
I'm going to get through today, right? Getting through it. And so you share this early on in the book. And I believe it's a mindset, right? And it's interesting, I'm working with a client right now who's going through a tough time in the job, in the workplace. And part of what part of our conversation was around, like, how are you orientating yourself? Like, what is the focus that you're putting on yourself? What is the experience that you want to create for yourself, right?
Yes.
Are you being 100% committed to yourself? Because when you're coming from that place, you talked about, self-worth being something internal where what's external doesn't hit you the same. When I'm clear on who I am inside, I don't have to prove to everybody else outside. And so the level of stress, which we're going to talk about a lot in the second hour, the level of stress you feel drops because I'm playing a personal integrity game. I'm playing a personal commitment game. What was the turning point from you from getting through it to actually becoming centered and no matter what's happening around you, enjoying your day or creating what you intended to create and being like, well, that's unfortunate. And, that did have a bit of an impact on me. I mean, I am a human being and today was a good day.
Yeah. So this is what I tell my clients and I practice. And even you have, supported this for me, is it's counterintuitive. But when you put yourself first and you really are paying attention to your needs, it makes a difference. It actually changes the energy that you move with, that you're bringing to a space. And so I have an affirmation that, when I show up, the atmosphere changes, right? But my practice of self-care is what helps me or has helped me to really embrace that. Prior to me really focusing on making sure that I'm at the top of the list, I didn't say I was the only thing on the list because people were like, oh my God, take everything off. No, I'm at the top of the list. I would internalize that feedback, like, or whatever, or the environment. Like, okay, well, she gonna be here, or they're gonna be there, or whatever the case may be. So part of it would be internalizing it, or just putting a lot of energy on navigating around something versus really feeling empowered to leave the energy, like there's something called Tai Chi, right? Leave that energy. Like, I don't have to absorb it. I don't actually even have to pick it up. I don't have to be responsible for it. I can actually let that stay right where it is, because many times what we experience is as a result of what we actually take on.
Yeah.
We volunteer for it. And it's like, well, I'm not going to volunteer for that. I'm not.
Yeah.
Sorry, not a
Yeah.
volunteer for that today.
You know,
Yeah.
I want to, like, just pause and make sure the audience
Yes.
really,
Yeah.
really got what you just said. Because I think sometimes, like, a statement like that, if it's not interpreted fully, and
Yeah.
you said layman's terms, you did.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I really want to, I want to put it in different terms to really help people get it.
Yeah. Please.
What I heard you say is that I can step into a low vibration room,
Yes. Yes.
and because I've been intentional about my vibration, that I will, like you are declaring that I will shift the vibration of that room. And if I can't shift it, I'm not going to let any of that get on me. Right? And the other thing you talk about in the book, and if I notice some of it gets on me, then I'm going to take a me moment.
Yes.
Which is which is the title of the book.
Yes.
To make sure I get it back off.
Yes. Yes.
Like-
it's a practice.
Yeah, as a practice.
It's as a practice.
Can I read something you wrote?
Yeah.
So you talk about this on self-care, and you talk about 4 essential areas of neglect that you have found in black women. And you say, I have found that black women in particular tend to neglect 4 essential areas. Our need for calm in the midst of chaos, so that me moment, right?
Right.
Comfort when facing pain. Like I actually, if I'm in pain or I feel pain, let's say I came out of a meeting that caused me pain.
Yes.
Like I deserve
Yes.
a moment of comfort.
Yes.
Like I get to, like, oh, wait a second, I need to restore my comfort. Then you go on to say true rest beyond mere sleep. So if I'm exhausted, right, I get to get rested.
Yes.
And sustainable energy that comes from alignment rather than pushing.
Yes.
Like I highlighted that when I was like, woo. And this is early in the book, y'all. So you start to, like, Cantiese starts to preach to you after you get to like the 3rd or 4th page. She starts to just, like she says, she pours into folks. She's like, here you go. Thank you for reading my book. Here you go. Right? I was like, man. And you say that to black women, but brothers, like, you should buy this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because as a man, I was like, man, is that not dead on?
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because I even have, clients who are not, black women, who are Caucasian or other races, and so I think that not enough, like somebody can recommend the book from, Asian culture or Native American or whatever.
100%.
Our unique experience actually provides opportunity for everybody. Like, so this book is about my unique experience talking to us. However,
I mean,
everybody needs a me moment.
I got some. I got
so,
something from it as a black man, so I know
Yes.
other people can get from it. Can I continue to read later on the page what you say?
Yes, absolutely.
So a couple of paragraphs down, you say, in terms of the watering part, I used to think I could water the plants whenever I remembered and expect them to thrive. But gardens, like our spirits, need consistent, intentional care.
Yes.
That one too really spoke to me, because self-care Sundays, I'm gonna wait to Sunday. You're like, nah, well, the plant gonna die.
Yep.
Like it needs, and when does it need what? If it was in the sun, you might need to water it today.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so that's what I hear you saying. Like, hey, it's when it comes to me, it's not about. And this is one part that spoke to me personally, where you're like, if I can just get to Friday, or if I can just, I'm working with a client, maybe I'm traveling, and it's like, well, if I can just get to the end of the day, and like what I took from this is, when they go to lunch, I'm gonna restore myself then.
Yeah. Yes.
Like that's when
Right.
I'm gonna restore myself.
Yes.
That's when I'm gonna pour back into myself.
Yes.
Like, because this plant has been in the sun and now it needs to be restored.
Yes.
Now,
Right.
not later.
Yes. Really understanding the condition that you're in And what I talk about is what you have capacity for, right? So even though we all wish we had unlimited capacity, you need to understand, one, where is the end of you, so that you can be intentional about making sure that your needs are taken care of. I can give an example just from me in my work. Like there when I started, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start my own business. I need to do back to back. And it was like, guess what? I get to the end of the day, I haven't had water. I haven't hardly went to the bathroom. I didn't even eat lunch. It's like, well, wait a minute. First of all, that's not sustainable.
No.
And that's the big message, is that we won't drive a vehicle past its capacity. But we drive
the vehicle won't let us.
It's not, right, it won't.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Yeah.
And this is what really, and we talked about that 1 and 2 over 20 with the cardiovascular disease.
Right.
Is that a lot of times we don't realize what's happening to us until we end up at the doctor's office, until we need high blood pressure medicine or we are diagnosed with something. And then our body, right, is speaking, and it's speaking loudly. And I'm saying that's preventable if we would just pay attention.
If I had been paying attention earlier and watering myself earlier, I wouldn't be in a hospital. I wouldn't be at the doctor. I wouldn't. Yeah, I would still be thriving and okay.
Yes.
In chapter 1, you talk about how those who came before us shape the way we care for ourselves.
Yes.
And so say a little bit more about that. Like what do you mean by that? Those who came before us shape the way that we care for ourselves.
Yeah, and I was really careful about, this topic because, it could be a bit touchy, right? One of the things that I wanted to do is honor my grandmothers, right, in this book. And I also wanted to talk about the legacy that gets passed down to Black women and girls from what we watch and from what we see from our grandmothers, our mothers, our aunties. And so that legacy, I want to be very clear, is connected to oppression.
Yeah.
And the different weights that have been, placed on us through the way society is set up. And so I'm very clear that what I saw of my grandmothers in terms of the ways that they neglected themselves or the ways that they stepped up to the plate to operate on top of pain, to operate on top of illness, to make sure that they, provided for the family at all costs, was due to the situation and the frame of society that actually didn't even create a space, for them to have room very much to need to take care of themselves in a different way. And so that's the legacy that I'm talking about. So for instance, both of my grandmothers passed away from stress-related health issues that were exacerbated by the things that they had to do. So my dad's mom, she was born and grew up, it's like right after like the Great Depression, and experienced that. And so she put a lot of emphasis on making sure she could feed everybody, right? And so there was a lot of, things weighing on her. And even the way that she worked, she worked in buildings where she was exposed to asbestos and chemicals and things like that. My mom's mom, she grew up picking cotton and really did a lot of physical labor in terms of like how she was able to work and provide for the family and all of those things. And so for me, this is about honoring them and sort of reclaiming what they didn't get.
Yep.
And really being almost creating a advocacy and a political resistance to say, you know what, I'm going to allow their lives to speak and to support me in creating for myself and others in ways that they were not able to experience.
Got you. Yeah.
And
I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
We learn a lot from those who raised us in terms of how to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that for all of us as a community, we can look at our elders who were under a completely different type of stress.
Totally.
For a lot of really good reasons, right?
Right.
Given, Jim Crow and sharecropping, where, at this point, should we be reliving that or duplicating their pace and the way that they did life? And the answer is no. Right. We don't have to. But you have to have an awareness that you're doing it in the first place.
You have to have an awareness.
Yeah.
Yes.
And because it's very easy to model what we grew up on.
Yeah. One of the things that you say, and I borrow, is in the absence of intention, we resort to our automatic way of being.
Yep.
Right?
Which is what we learn.
It's what we learn. So part of so we have this map, right? And what they had to do, I believe, is operate on top of what may be so for them or what may be going on for them so that they could, because it was more about survival.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, we got to survive. So.
Yep. I believe that there are two types of stress. And you've heard me say this before, like the stress that comes from creating a worthy goal.
Yes.
Right? And then the stress from being unintentional about life and that effect.
Yes.
Right? And most of what I hear you talking about in the book is like when there's a lack of an intention and you're allowing those external factors to run how you show up.
Yeah.
In the book, you wrote, stress expresses itself through multiple dimensions, physical, emotional, cognitive, and behavioral, each offering unique signals about our well-being. While some stress actually motivates and energizes towards growth, that's what I was talking about, chronic stress operates differently. Then you go on to say, and I'm skipping a bit, about how black women normalize our their heightened stress tolerance. We kind of in some ways almost celebrate the ability to do more in tough circumstances. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so then you go on to say this normalization contributes to what researchers call allostatic load, the cumulative burden of chronic stress and life demands. And black women experience a disproportionate allostatic load due to compounding effects of racism, sexism, and other systemic pressures. And then you go on to talk about how this concept explains why we might not recognize stress as it is because, this is normal.
Right, yeah. It's like if you carry a heavy load, for a long time, you will start to think, oh, this is what it is normal. Or whatever the case may be. And so you don't recognize it. And I will tell you, if I were to wrap up the purpose of this book in one thing, it's to attack that.
Got you.
It is to get my sisters to consider that maybe they're carrying more
than they have to.
Than they have to.
Yep. Yep. And I would say not maybe, you are.
That they are.
If you're
are.
not intentional about what you're carrying,
yes.
you're likely carrying way more
right.
than you should be
yes.
carrying because you've been taking on
right.
way more than you
yes.
should take on.
And then to make the choice to set some of it down.
What does that look like? By the way, we got a winner, so don't hang up, you
okay.
guys. But what does that look like? I mean, because so as a coach, supporting, I have the opportunity to support across the board, right? CEOs, executives, all the way down to, maybe the common working person who might be a Slayer Goals member, right? And I see a common thread through that where if I set this down, then I feel guilty or I feel like I'm obligated or, I'm so used to carrying it that when I take it off, it's like, well, how do I function without it?
Who am I?
So, how does that, what advice would you give to someone who struggles with that? And maybe they did sit it down for a minute, then they felt bad, they picked it back up, and it just feels like this is what I should have.
Yeah.
What do you say to them?
Yeah, so I use an analogy. So, and I think everybody can relate to. As y'all can see, I'm an analogy person. I think one of my superpowers is teaching. So we can relate to hats, right? So I think about the different roles that we play in terms of wearing hats. And I use a very silly image. And just imagine if I were wearing 12 different hats at once. That would look ridiculous. But that is what we do. We try to just be everything to everybody and everything all at one time, and it is it's messy and all of those things. And so what you have to do is take all of those pieces off and start to ask yourself, who am I? And source what you're doing. And you talk about this, right? Sourcing what you do, not from what I want to have or what I'm trying to get to or become, but really understanding who you are and letting that. Yeah. So I'm not saying kill all the hats or don't do any of it, but instead of making it a top-down situation where you're at the bottom of everything, make it more like a table, like a boardroom table, where who you are, the person underneath all of that, gets to actually be the leader. That's how you start. You start by taking it off, looking at it all, and directing what you do from a place of who you are. Yeah. It's that spiritual substance, really questing into that. Which, at first it's not going to be comfortable. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's necessary. Yeah. Yeah, and you have to start somewhere. And what I tell people to do is start with the easiest thing. What's the easiest thing you can say, let me rest that for a minute, or let me delegate that to someone else? For me, I don't mind saying it was stuff like, yard work or laundry or whatever the case may be. Is there something that creates just a little bit of space for me that is easy for? So sometimes it's not as convenient to do hard stuff. Yeah.
So throughout the book, you all, Cantiese has what she calls soul whispers, and you have a soul whisper that correlates to this. And this soul whisper is, my body signals are wisdom, not weakness. I honor them with loving attention. Yes. And that's what I hear you saying. Yes. Here, is that when I notice certain things, when I notice a feeling of, oh, this is too much, or a sense of stress, that instead of it's not weakness, it's wisdom. Like your body is indicating to you, hey, you should let something go. And so I honor them with loving attention. Oh, what's that? Why am I feeling that way about this? I need to pay attention to that, is what I took from that soul whisper that you have in Chapter 2 around examining stress.
Yeah.
I guess my question is centered around how do we build partnerships and relationships where we can put those burdens down, or where Black women can put those burdens down. The challenge that I see is the solution is, hey, delegate and give it away. But when we have so many families that consist of a single mom, who is she putting that burden down to?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's very good.
That's good.
Yeah. I love that question, and that is actually something that I've been asked before. Like, oh, okay, so how would a woman who may be a single mom or maybe not a single mom, but maybe the husband travels a lot or whatever the case may be. It's like, how do we do that? And I believe that research says that Black women specifically are stronger because of their community. And so it's important for there to be the establishment of community. And part of this work with Me Moment is about healing ourselves so that we can have better relationships with each other and that support.
Oh, that's good.
That support network, right? So it's about walking through the process of healing that is a conduit for healing the relationships that we have around us. And so it's about, for a woman who is single, a single mom, and trying to handle it all on her own, it's building that community and that network for herself. And it starts with, maybe learning to trust and things like that. And maybe even being okay, because this is a part of it, being okay with knowing that needing help is not weakness, right? Asking for help, needing help is not a sign that I don't know what I'm doing or I'm weak or whatever the case may be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very good question.
And it's in listening with you, I can hear that the power of building community, because what I find is, I'm a Black man raised in a predominantly Black female household. My grandfather died when I was 50 years old, and I was raised during, the crack generation where our grandparents raised us here. What I see is that our women have built networks within themselves, but there are no Black men in those networks. And they have
that's good.
They have babies with some of these guys, but after a while, those guys kind of go away. And we need to find a way so that the partnerships aren't just the community of a bunch of Black women, but that they're forging partnerships in a household, marriages, that can build Black families. And I think some of that is when we see that there is a championing in our community of the Black men who kind of are the superstars. But not everybody's going to play basketball. Not everybody's going to be a musician. Not everybody's going to be on the radio show. How do we build partnerships and relationships with the Black men that are there, so that those Black men don't feel like, man, I got to go, when I go to college, I got to go find me a white woman, or whatever it is that a lot of the ones that don't fit into the mold of classic Black masculinity can build partnerships with the Black women that need to be held up, that need to be supported, that we need to build a community with.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good insight, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate that insight.
I do too.
And I would say this. I think that we have to just continue to model it. For those of us who do have platforms, I think this is one way that we model it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, Black woman writes a book for Black women. Black man says, great book, not just for Black women, but for Black men. And that we can all learn from this, and then that we all should read it. And I think that's one of the ways that we do that. But then I think it has to be across the board, too. Black man writes a book. Black woman has a platform.
Yes.
Black woman says, hey, black man, come share what you have for us because we can learn from it, too. And I think we have to remember that we are stronger together. And that part of the narrative and what's been put in place is this sense of division and, misunderstanding, because in that, as a community, we stay weaker. And so the only way that we develop our strength again is, connecting and that unity of purpose across the board, that we're all pushing for the same thing, maybe in different ways, but we're all pushing for the same thing. And so how do we achieve that? So you say the polyvagal theory helps us understand how stress impacts the nervous system and why our body responds the way it does.
Yeah.
It's like a guide to your body's stress signals and how you can calm yourself when you feel overwhelmed. And then you go into the 3 modes of the nervous system.
Yeah.
Safe and social mode, fight or flight mode, and then shutdown mode. And you give examples of that. You then, I believe in the chapter wrap up, I think that's examining stress, because I'm jumping here because it's in my notes. So I'm jumping all the way to the end of chapter 3 to kind of build a bridge here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You then, in your wrap up of chapter 3, when you talk about stress on the body, go into being able to identify and name stressors in our lives is a great skill to have. However, if we don't know how these things affect us, we will not understand the importance of curating practices that combat them.
Yes.
I want to talk about that.
Okay.
Because if I don't know, if I don't know what I've been feeling most of my life, is...
You're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
You're not even going to know to do anything about it.
Exactly. So how do I gain awareness?
Yeah. So one of the things that... sort of the first kind of part of this book is not everybody is going to go sit on somebody's couch or whatever. So part of it is...
Nor can they afford it.
They can't afford it.
They can't afford your book.
They can afford the book. And I believe that the way to really create this level of wellness is through our body, because we experience life in the world through our body. And so it is really paying attention to, because God gave us these signals. Your heart beats fast, something gets tight, your head, whatever it is, start really paying attention and not dismissing it as, oh, okay, I have a headache. Let me pop a Tylenol.
Right.
I have a headache. What went on today? Right? Getting still and just simply checking in with yourself.
Right.
Right? So that's where it starts. A lot of times, like even breathing, right? Most of us walk around, we shallow breathe, we don't take deep breaths.
Right.
Or whatever the case may be. Or, we live in the age of technology. There's always news on or TV on or the phone on or a TikTok on and so when do you ever get quiet where there's nothing and you can actually hear something internally?
Right.
Right? So that's where it starts.
So give us an example of how, like a personal example.
Yeah.
How you notice stress in your own body. Like if you can just walk us through, for the listener who's like really, trying to figure out like, okay, what does this look like for me? Like how you notice something in your body or had a situation where you're like, ooh, I need to do something about that. Yeah. And then you walk through this.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, it could be like, because of being, a brown woman, I can go into a retail store or a restaurant, and I can have an interaction with someone where I know maybe they're not receiving me in the most, loving way, right? Or kind way. And I can start to feel like a hot burning sensation, like in my chest or in my stomach, right? Or I may, not trying to be TMI, I may notice that no one else can see it, but my armpits are sweating.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
I've got,
I've
gotten a little elevated,
yeah.
right? My heart is beating a little faster.
Because of this interaction.
Because of this interaction that I'm having.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, woo, and so those are the very subtle kind of signs that, okay, that I need to pay attention to, that something's not right. And typically what I do, I would guess, I'm saved now. But,
right, because they could have
I got Jesus,
you
right?
could have gave them the business,
right?
Like, let me tell you.
Yeah, and so I remember being on the phone, like with like an AT&T or something, and the person, I felt like I was not being heard. And I noticed myself sort of going up, and then going around in a circle, and my voice started raising, and I was like, okay, wait a minute. I'm going up here, and this is not going anywhere.
Right.
And this is actually robbing me of energy. It's not, so let me end this.
Right.
And so when I got off, I was like, okay, this is not the experience I want to have. This is not the quality, but it was me noticing how my temperature changing and my voice starting to go up. That helped me to go, I need to get myself out of this. I need to end this call. I can call back, but this is not that worth me going there.
My experience is more valuable than time.
Yes.
My experience is more valuable than checking a box.
Right.
My experience, so
Yes.
that's what I'm taking from this.
Yes.
Like what's going on for me is because, like, in my mind, here's what's going through my mind. Like, well, then you got to call back. That task is still on your list.
Yeah.
Like, and what I hear you saying is no. My experience,
right,
and what I'm going through, the stress that I feel beginning to percolate, me paying attention to that is more important than checking a box.
Yes.
It's more important than, basically being productive with my time.
I need
in this
to get
moment.
I need to get
it's
this.
like, this experience is not worth any of that. And so let me, because I can control it, end it.
Yeah, let me end this, and let me take care of myself.
That's so good. That is, I just had an experience like that with my cousin, where we're in a high-end shop. He's fairly wealthy, and he wanted to pay cash, and the person thought he was playing. And he was like, let's go, cuz. And he just walked out. And the reason he was looking at this item was because it was an immediate investment of where he would make a few thousand if he bought it and resold it. And because he had already priced it somewhere else. And so he's like, wow, this is here in the state we were in. There's no taxes, things like that, right?
So all these benefits.
But and when he walked out, I was like, you leaving money on the table? And he was like, no. They don't deserve. Like, and he was like, and what I hear you saying is the exact same thing.
Right.
Where well, my experience is more valuable than anything.
Right.
And if I feel stress percolating, I'm going to do what I have to do to cut it off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's being, it's changing the lens on how you interpret what's happening to you physically.
Yeah. One of the questions I have, because you wrote, calm isn't something you wait for. It's something you create.
Yes.
And so what I just heard you say is part of the way you cultivate calm is by prioritizing yourself and your experience above these external factors. And when you hang that phone up from that agent, that's part of the way that you're cultivating calm, decreasing the stress, increasing the calm, And so calm isn't something I'm going to wait for after the call, after I take myself through it. It's something it's something I can create in this moment. I can cultivate it in this moment.
Yes.
Say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so you talked about the polyvagal theory in those different states, right? And so if I'm in those states, right, first of all, what I'm trying to do is being undermined anyway. So me staying on the phone and hollering or whatever, that's still not going to be productive. So not only am I not going to get what it is I need to get done, I'm also going to now have my blood pressure go up and all of that. So I'm almost also talking about not only cultivating the calm, but what should be motivating us, right? And this is what I run into. It's like, well, we don't have time for that. It's like, well, actually, we're wasting more time, right, by engaging in this explosive exchange because we're still not going to get anywhere. Right. So it's like, oh, actually, cultivating this space of calm is actually going to make things more productive and move things forward in a way that I hadn't even thought about. Because here's what happens. Get a little sciencey for a minute. Our prefrontal cortex, our decision-making, creative problem-solving brain does not work when we are amped up.
Say it again. That's true.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if I were to tell you anything that would promote your position on cultivating calm, it's that you are going to only be reactive.
Not your best self.
Yeah, and then later on you're going to look like, oh my God, I just hollered and screamed, I just whatever.
Right. I gave them the most.
Gave them the most.
Right.
So for me, it is taking control of the command center of my own self and my own life and what it is that I want to experience, and it doesn't have anything to do with the other person. I'm not trying to get them to think something or believe something. It is about making sure that not only am I navigating this moment, but that I am taking care of my overall health. Because remember, this is about that blood pressure, that if we keep doing that, eventually it's going to create a health outcome that we don't want.
Yeah. That's really, really good. You talk about practices like breathing and mindfulness in terms of cultivating calm. Let's say I'm new to this. I'm hearing this, and it's like it's resonating. And I can see already in the comments on Facebook, the comments on YouTube, like this is resonating, okay? But I don't know where to start. Like, I ain't used to this.
Yeah.
Okay, you can hang up, sis, but I would have gave them my mind and it came off. My heartbeat would have been, like I'd have been so upset. And I'm upset for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How do I begin to practice this? Where should I start?
Yeah. So, whenever a person, one of the first things that happens, like if you go to therapy or anything like that, is we talk about, okay, well, how do you relax? And, even children are like, oh God, I don't want to deep breathe. I don't want to breathe. So what I say is that the best care is free. Okay. So even though I'm a therapist and I definitely, work with people and they compensate me for that, there are three things, and I think it actually, me being on here, I'm co-signing to things that you talk about.
Right.
And that is, air is free. And we should indulge in it and take as much of it as we possibly can. And what I tell people, even if you can stop for 1 minute and take some deep breaths, it is going to it will make a difference. Because here's the thing, oxygen, it causes our brain, our blood to circulate in a different way. And then the other place to look is hydration, which is, one of the questions that we probably wouldn't get to is why the tea, right?
Right.
So tea, if you don't add sugar or any sweetener to it, it's a great way to be hydrated. And hydration will make you feel better mentally and emotionally. So some of us don't feel well mentally and emotionally because we are dehydrated.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling irritable and I'm kind of, nervy, one of the first places I go is, you need to drink some water. You need to hydrate, right?
Yeah.
So and then rest, which is a whole chapter in the book.
Yeah.
And when I say rest, I mean making sure that we have an opportunity to take a break. Our brains get a break. They do brain breaks for children. Right. Grown people need brain breaks, no doubt. Meaning you're not processing digital information or sound information. You're having the opportunity to just really decompress from having to think about something or concentrate on something. But yeah, really making sure that you do get quality rest and sleep. Those things are the first places to look. So it doesn't have to be super complicated. It can be simple. So if you're not doing those things or those things are a challenge, just start with one that, again, I always like to say that's easiest.
Yeah.
What's the easiest thing, for you to do? And if you need to, have everybody in the family breathe. Like, you know what? What we all going to do right now is stop and breathe.
I like that.
That's what we're doing.
Pam, take note of that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good practice
that's
for
what we
Legend
do.
and Rain, too.
That's what we're doing. Yeah. That is what we're doing.
Yeah.
I work with clients who they are busy and their work is demanding. And so one of the things that I do is just find opportunities in their day where they can be intentional about that. So that's another thing that you can do, because we waste time. Come on, y'all. We waste time.
Yeah.
We waste time chit-chatting at the water cooler or whatever the case may be. So finding that opportunity.
Got you. You distinguish the difference between comfort and numbing.
Yes. It's a good one.
First, what is the difference? And why is it so easy for us to confuse the two?
Yeah. So in very simple terms, numbing is ignoring. This is uncomfortable, painful, too something for me to deal with. So I'm going to do something, some type of coping. And I tell people there's two types of coping. There's coping that supports you in the meantime, so until you can get to being able to deal with the issue, or there's coping that has a negative outcome, like, drugs or drinking or maybe being promiscuous or whatever the case, overeating, dissociating. Right. So numbing is, I'm going to figure out a way to ignore or detach myself from this experience because I don't like it. It doesn't heal or get rid of the experience. It stays sort of back there in the queue.
Right.
And even though we are not dealing with it up front, it's influencing how we move.
Yeah.
And that's why it's problematic.
Well, that's why I'm numbing too.
Right.
Yeah. And so then what I'm hearing is that issue or whatever that stressor may be that I haven't learned to calm my nervous system down from, until I learn how to calm my nervous system down from that, whatever my numbing technique is will continue to be Like
right.
now, so now
becomes
you gotta have it. I gotta have it. And
that's why it's problematic.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. Gotcha.
So comfort, and I like to talk about comfort because comfort is connected to pain. And I describe it this way. I like to talk about physical things to help us understand emotional things because it's similar. When a child gets hurt, sometimes they get a boo-boo and it's a scrape. Their feelings are hurt, and mommy or daddy kissing it and comforting them, bringing them close and saying, you're going to be okay, is what's needed. Right? Emotionally, we need that.
Right.
Also, if it is a gaping wound, right, where maybe we are bleeding, or emotionally we're bleeding, such as like grief, where we've had loss, not only do we need that bringing close and you're going to be okay, we actually need triage.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So we would never tell a person with a physical wound where they're bleeding, oh, just get over it. Like, you're going to be fine. Give me a hug. Right. Like, no, we actually... Kiss it. No,
right. Right. It's not enough. Yeah.
Yeah. We need that thing might need pressure. It might need stitches. It might need to be cleaned. It might need antiseptic. Man. It needs triage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so pain, so this comfort means I'm going to pay attention to my wound and what level of wound I have and triage it in the Yeah.
No, I love that. And sometimes because it's an invisible wound, we don't realize how much. I tell folks all the time that after my mom passed, if I hadn't got grief therapy, I might, who knows, I could have wrecked my life because I didn't realize how deep the emotional wound was until we started going through the triage process where my therapist is like, well, how do you feel about this? And what's in the back of your mind here? And I'm like, I can't believe I'm saying these things and that this is actually what's kind of all that's going on for me. And if I hadn't got the support.
Yeah.
I'm bleeding all over the place, basically.
Right. Yeah. So comfort is about restoral and healing.
Yeah.
And numbing is about denial and ignoring.
Got you.
Right.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. That's good. Okay. I think it's in chapter 6 where you write about the danger of distractions that sometimes we use for comfort.
Yes. Yeah.
Mind, social media.
Yeah.
That dopamine hit, we just kind of know everything. Workaholism.
Yes. Yep.
And you begin talking about how we can begin replacing those practices to actually heal. Can you share like a 2-minute spiel with the audience so we can get as much out of you while we got you as we can?
Yeah. So, guess what? Those numbing behaviors are very compelling. They're tempting, right? And so, if you are exhausted, right, and you're trying to heal, that's counterintuitive, right? So part of it is being able to say yes to you and say no to maybe like a brunch date. It's like, okay, but that's great, and I do want to get with my girls, right? Yeah. Or I do want to go dancing, or I do want to take on another project. So part of the practice is, okay, especially if you're in a wounded state, your capacity is being called into question. So it's really going, what should I do instead, right? And so I tell people, spending time in nature. So maybe it's not, hey, I'm not going with my girls, but hey, y'all, do y'all want to go on a hike instead? You know, like maybe shifting it so that you're getting vitamin D, or you're getting fresh air, or you're getting what you mentioned earlier, a different vibrational
Yes.
frequency,
Yes.
because we know what's going to happen at brunch,
Yep.
right? You're going to have, conversation about him and them, and then you're going to have a couple, maybe one
Mimosas,
too many
maybe.
mimosas,
Yeah,
which,
yeah.
alcohol dehydrates you and all of the things, right? So now you're in a cycle, and it's like, okay, well, how can I shift it that gives back to me?
Yeah.
That's the question. How
Yeah.
can I shift things to where it's giving back to me?
I love that. Love that. Thank you for watching Inspirational Perspective. If you love this show and you want to see more content like this, you can go right here. And if you like this subject and you want to see much more content that we have available for you, just click the button here. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to watch the show live, 7 a.m. every Sunday morning on WVON Radio, or you can catch it right here on YouTube or Facebook.com/Coach Liddell Harris. Be sure to hit that like button. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so we can get more content just like this to you.